Okay, bear with me 1 second here. Uh, Welcome to the Anderson Report, Tuesday, August 25th. And the really good news is that I believe we have the comment and chat field fixed. Please, if you are out there watching, you want to throw something in the chat, I would love to see if I can see it. Yes, John, I see you. Thank you so much. And Mark, also, I see Mark. I am going to set up my other little thing where I can watch the broadcast live. Uvo, yes. How long are the Feds going to keep this going? I think that rates are going to be very, very low through at least the middle of next year. I think the getting the economy back to where it was before the shutdown is going to be. We've done kind of the first stage of the easy part. A much harder stage in terms of getting the employment picture all added back in is going to be the next real challenge. And then, of course, we really need an answer for the vaccine in terms of either therapeutics that people are comfortable with and or a vaccine that is extremely widely distributed and that people are comfortable with. And that will make people also comfortable with indoor activities. And we all know what those are: restaurants, bars, sporting events, gatherings, conferences, movie theaters, theme parks, sporting events. Probably mentioned that one twice, but it's still going to be a while. Rates are going to be low for a while, although I don't know that I don't believe we are going to have stimulus 5, stimulus 6, stimulus 7 programs added all on to the extent that we did that first big shot in stimulus 1.0 through 3.0 that was really needed quite a bit by the economy and people that were out financially on, through no fault of their own. I live in Oxford. The vaccine produced here has gone into phase 3 trials. That is great news, Uvo, if I'm pronouncing that right. If I'm not, bear with me. I believe there are a few vaccines in the U.S. that are in stage 3 trials, although I can't give you off the top of my head which ones and what companies are the most involved. So, how effective is the muni repurchase program by the Fed? Well, John, that would really be a question of, is it helping municipals, states, and or local governments that sell municipal bonds? Is it helping them go to the market and sell bonds when otherwise their credit worthiness might be a hindering issue for investors who would potentially be buying those bonds? Clearly, they do need to recycle bonds as they come mature and probably even sell some more bonds right now to deal with all the cash inflows they've had over the last, what is it now, 5 months? So I can't give you specifics on that, but I've got to think to the extent that it makes investors confident that there is a buyer in the Fed just behind them, it's got to be helping. So anyway, just bear with me 1 minute. I like to turn, even though the chat is fixed, I'm still going to turn the YouTube version on. That way I won't have to tip my head back and it looks like I'm putting my nose up in the air to read the chat through the bottom of my glasses, which I'm sure if you're watching is kind of a funny thing to see, and not to mention possibly a little bit annoying. So it's 7:05 on a Tuesday night. This is the Anderson Report. We're a couple days into the last 2 weeks of summer. Summer is extending well into September this year, with Labor Day on September 7th, very late. If you're at the beach, I hope you've been enjoying it. And we're very happy to see you tune in to the Anderson Report, regardless of where you may be. I am Tim the Source Anderson. This is my YouTube channel. We're so happy tonight because we've got the problem with the chat fixed. I can see that even if you are watching on Periscope, I see your chats. I am watching YouTube off to the side a little bit, so I'll be able to see the YouTube chats there. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet by hitting that little subscribe button on YouTube. Hit that little bell right next to it to get notifications on when the next broadcast is. And please like the program. It all adds up into the metrics for YouTube. And within a couple months from now, they'll probably they may even have an extra couple of treats for us on their application. On Periscope, if you're watching on Periscope, I'm TJ Anderson 12. If you're watching, obviously you've figured that out, unless you're just watching my Twitter feed, which is TJ Anderson 1. So let's talk about the market today. We had really a market that was challenged right out of the chute today, with some very negative or cautious or warning signal issues in the market internals, the market breadth, the advanced decline lines that had crept into the market last week, most glaringly on Friday, when the Dow and S&P made new highs, and the advanced declines were better than 2-to-1 to the downside. Even yesterday, with the Dow being up over 350 points. And yesterday, I'm going to take a real quick look. The S&P up 1%, NASDAQ up 0.6%. Felt like maybe the NASDAQ stocks were running out of steam a little bit. Had done a big reversal Monday morning from its highs above 2,100 in the first 10 minutes of the day. It traded down about 180 points to below 1950. Stabilized, closed just above 2,000. I think it was even up a touch today. And so today we had a little bit of a hangover from NASDAQ underperforming, and some chatter that maybe these high-powered mega growth tech names needed a breather. But we also had a little bit of some positive chatter on the China trade talks via a phone call between Lighthizer, Secretary of the Treasury Mnuchin, and the chief negotiator for China, who's also, I believe, their finance minister, Wei, I believe his name is. But the Dow today, just a very minor sell-off, down about 60 points. That's only 0.2%. The S&P 500 had a pretty nice day. It was down as much as 8 to 10 points early in the session. It recovered. It finished up 12 points. That's a gain of a little over 1/3%. The S&P went out at 3443. A little bit of a symmetrical number there. 3443 for the S&P 500. And the Dow, with a minor sell-off of 60 points, still easily holding the 28,000 level, which it got above yesterday, 28,248. The NASDAQ composite did have a nice day. It was up 0.8%, about 85 points, 1,466. Another new closing high for the NASDAQ composite. Another new closing high for the S&P 500. The Russell 2000, a fractional gain of slightly less than 3 points, 1571. There's a lot of resistance at 1600. That's about 2% away. Um, we'll see what next time it gets there, how stubborn that resistance level is for the Russell. The transports gave back a touch, 11,127, just down 0.2%. The transports that had a big day yesterday with the airlines and the cruise lines. The airlines up maybe between 2.5% and 4.5%. The cruise lines up 8 to 10%. Really on the story that signs of a potential breakthrough in a vaccine and or therapeutics for the virus. So the breadth numbers today, I've talked about them every day. Um, they're not what they should be, but they're a little bit better than yesterday. So on the NYSE, they were negative by about 60 issues. You had 1,460 advancing issues. You had 1,520 decliners. It was worse than that earlier in the day. It improved as the last 90 minutes of the day took stocks pretty much to their highs of the day. We'll see if we have an update tomorrow, if maybe that can give us a nice positive advanced decline reading. It's been a little bit of a warning sign. And in fact, in the NASDAQ market, we did get better advanced decline numbers. We had 2,000 advancers and 1,350 decliners. That's about 3 stocks going up for every 2 that went down. And in contrast to what we've seen for the breadth numbers in the NASDAQ market over the last 2 weeks, that might be a little bit of a positive sign. I still think that these mega growth tech names are very stretched out. The effective date for the 5-to-1 split in Tesla is coming, as is the 4-to-1 split in Apple. We'll see if this turns into just a classic textbook buy on the announcement, sell on the effective date or on the actual event. Usually they call it sell on the news if there's an anticipated event going on, or if a company is rumored to be announcing a new product, or if there's a rumor of a significant positive data point coming out of a company. It's called buy on the rumor, sell on the news, because it gets priced into the stock or into the sector of the market that's potentially going to be affected very positively. And then when the news comes, all the people that had gone long or bought in addition to that, in anticipation of that event, once the event happens, they say, well, I'm going to sell. So we'll see if this split 5-for-1 in Tesla, 4-for-1 in Apple. Apple was down a little bit today. I think it broke maybe a 6-day winning streak. It wasn't down a lot, but it was down a little bit. John, it's nice to see oil breaking above 43. Yes, it was. Now, I had the oil futures going out for the Brent crude at 42.95. It was very possibly above 43 either earlier in the day and or in after hours trading at a later point in time from when I jotted down that oil price. Up 75 cents, up 1.75%. It's a very positive sign for the for oil, and we've been talking about it a lot. Although I will say the energy stocks did not really follow in lockstep, possibly because of a little bit of selling in Exxon going with the announcement that it's going out of the Dow, more of a psychological thing than a valuation thing. But the energy sector of the S&P was down 1.4% after gaining twice that yesterday. That's what we've talked about this energy sector and this financial sector. They go up 3% one day, they come down 2% the next day. They have 3 days that are up, they have 2 days that are down in any given week. They have a day, they go up 4 days, they come down for 3 days. So we'd like to see the energy sector react a little bit more to the fact that oil is in a almost a sneaky way putting in higher highs and higher lows on a chart. um anybody with a technical analysis 101 class behind them will tell you that that's usually a positive sign. You want to That's called a potential or a slow grinding uptrend. Higher highs, higher lows. That means that the bar or the candle has the body is, going up over time, over days, over a couple of weeks. We would like to see the energy sector, as represented by the energy stocks that are in the energy sector of the S&P 500, reflect that they're a little bit behind the what the price of crude has done over the last 3 weeks, is my read. So a couple of other uh, mentions. NASDAQ making a new high today, was down early in the day, closed at a new high, 11,466. I believe that Amazon hit a new high today too. Now I'm going to have to go back and see if it closed there. Maybe the old high was 33, I don't know, it's 3380 something. You know what? I'm embarrassed. I don't have it in front of me, and I'm not going to lean over and pull it up on the big computer. But Amazon did hit a new high today. I'm sure that helped the NASDAQ. I think also there is some speculation in the market, and I think some traders are I've heard Scott Redler talk about it. There are some traders playing Amazon from the long side because they feel that with the very positive price action that both Tesla and Apple have had in response to the announcement of their uh, stock splits, that Apple will split its stock sometime between now and the not too distant future. Now, I will just say this is total speculation. Um, there's no way that Apple would ever let something like that leak out. But there are traders, I believe, that are playing Amazon on the speculative side because they feel that if they were to announce a stock split, and I would think that if they did, it would be 10-1, it would still be a $330 stock, that they feel that Amazon stock would have a similar reaction to what Tesla had. What did it go from, like between 15 and 1600 to 2000? It's crazy. And Apple went up 25%. Apple was just below 400. It had just hit a new high at like 393. It announces a 4-for-1 stock split. It goes to 500 in what, 3 weeks? That's 25% on the news that has zero to do with the fundamental valuation of the company. Now, don't get me wrong, Apple's a great company. They've done almost everything right for a long time. They got tons of cash. They're not trading at a 3-digit PE multiple like some of these other tech names are. And please, don't take anything I say about individual stocks as a potential recommendation to either buy the stock for an investment or to buy the stock for a trade or to sell the stock. I am just giving you analysis on what I see going on in the marketplace and what I hear from people that I talk to. and what I feel is driving stock price movements and sector price movements and the market overall. I am a registered person of FINRA. I work for a broker dealer, but I am not a registered stock analyst, and I cannot speak on individual stocks in such a way that it's meant that it can be interpreted in any way as a recommendation to uh, buy or sell. It's not investment advice. It's just an observation of what's going on and what I feel is driving price action. Uh, so crude oil 42.95. It may have traded at 43 earlier in the day. It may have traded at 43 after 4:30, 5 o'clock when I looked at that price. It's going in the right direction. Gold, it's been kind of quiet the last couple of days, but still holding out at $19 at 100 at $1,934. That level for gold, even though it has pulled back from what was it, 2050 ish, a little over 2000, about 2050. Even though gold has pulled back, it is still above what was the 2011 prior all-time highs. Silver, not much of a move today, hovering between around 26 and a half ish on the futures contract. So we had some housing data today. Um, just to jump into that a little bit, housing price index, FHFA housing price index up 0.9%, very consistent with what we've seen prices from other surveys and data points over the last 2 weeks. New home sales up 900,000. The official estimates were for 800,000, but I think after the data on home sales we had last week, a lot of people who'd had an estimate down for new home sales knew that they were probably low and maybe didn't revise it at the last minute. But new home sales, 900,000. You know, that's a trend that's not going to reverse itself anywhere in the near term, is my read. Consumer confidence kind of on the weak side. That's a conference board number. Maybe has to do with the fact that we've got no stimulus 4.0 plan. Maybe has to do with the fact that people are very in flux psychologically over whether schools are going to open, whether colleges are going to have in-person classes or online classes. You know, the fact that the virus is still kicking around at least an irritating level in a lot of parts of the country. And the $600 extra unemployment kicker that the Fed put in as an earlier stimulus program has been reduced to 300 a week at best, possibly 400 if the states can kick in 100. Leslie, the left was dissing the housing starts. They're going to diss any positive economic number that comes out, and they'll have plenty of opportunities because there's going to be a lot of them. So consumer confidence 84.8. This is a conference board number. It's calibrated a little higher than the University of Michigan number. 84.8, down from 91.7 in July. I think these consumer confidence numbers are very fluid and very difficult to survey right now. Clearly, we'd love to see the number go up, but we need more progress on the virus. I did also notice that today's Tuesday, right? Monday, we mentioned the TSA checkpoint volumes for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all weaker than they had been for the same days a week earlier. Monday was, I don't have the number right in front of me, but Monday's number was also about 3% weaker from the Monday a week earlier. And it could be that we're very late in August. I don't think it does a lot of good to compare it with the Monday of the third week in August from last year. because the numbers were so much higher, obviously in the 2 to 2.5 million range rather than the 5 to 100,000 to 850,000 range, basically running about a third, maybe at 30% capacity for TSA checkpoints. Okay, here, what happened? Newsreader, what happens if SEC finds wrongdoing in the Kodak investigation? I'm not 100% up on that story, but keep in mind the SEC, it's very, that could be a very long running investigation. For the SEC to find something that they are going to charge someone with, I don't believe the SEC can criminally charge either Kodak or individuals, but I'm sure that they can find them and they can restrict some people from the being an executive at public companies for a certain stretch in time. I, in terms of insider trading, that those are very, very difficult cases to charge, but I don't know that that's really what the SEC is looking at. I'm going to try to dig into that a little bit. Clearly, it would not be good for Kodak stock. I know that it's bounced. It went all the way up. It came all the way down, but not to where it was absolutely 100% before, because it's still trading a little bit higher with the idea that this all might get checked off on and said, well, okay, maybe they didn't do everything 100% right, but they are going to get assistance from the government and or this program that they were talking about with their chemical division is legit, and it's likely it's going to go forward. I really don't know how that's going to play out. I would doubt that it's going to be resolved in the near term, meaning the next month or two. The SEC usually, they are a very deliberative group. And they're not going to come out with a accusation or a charge unless they feel they've got it dead to rights. Rick is asking an interesting question here. Some states not even considered. Some states have even considered the discounted thrift. Not even considered. Once again, I don't know if the states can decline. I don't know if the states can prevent the feds from kicking in the extra 300 per month if the feds want to do that, because the feds are not going to funnel money through the state unemployment insurance fund to the tune of $300 per claimant unless that money is going to go to the individuals. So, that's, I think if the feds want to make that happen, they're going to make it happen. But I'm not absolutely 100% sure on it. Rick, thank you for the question and thank you for joining the program. Went to $60. Did Kodak really go to $60? I got to look that up. I thought it went into the low 40s, but it could have gone to $60. I would just say if Kodak went to 60, my guess would be it was there for minutes, not hours. But I'd have to look it up. Any couple of other questions here? Look, I'm great that the chat is working again. I think that the questions add to the program significantly. It helps me get a feel for what people's interests are and what level of expertise different people are at that are watching the program, because I know there's, a lot of people ask questions that they really just they might not be experienced market watchers or market professionals, and they have some questions they'd like some clarity on. And a lot of people ask very sophisticated questions. And I'm not going to try to give an answer to a question. Okay, newsreader, it did go to 60 after the trumpet. Look, I'll take your word for it. I know this is what you do uh, day in and day out. I certainly watch all this stuff very, very carefully also. I just don't have that data point absolutely fresh in my mind and how high Kodak went. Um, look look at what the Kodak price event was. A little bit like what American Airlines did in early June when it went up to $44 a share, even though they said they're on the verge of bankruptcy and they might have to furlough 25,000 workers. And very similar to what Hertz did at the exact same time frame, when we had that spike the first week of June in the market and in a lot of very, very, very speculative stocks that were trading at very, very low price single digits. Hertz went from $1 to $4, even after they said they were going to file Chapter 11. I think it was very largely a trading event that was sparked by a lot of. Look, I don't really want to wail on any specific trading platform, but there is this trading platform out there that got a not very complimentary write up in Barron's about a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, it's Robinhood. Their practices have been questioned by a number of people. They had some infractions and big fines early in their going back maybe 2 or 3 years. They've had some other highly publicized, very unfortunate incidences with some people that were trading through their program. I am not a fan of their program at all. There are plenty of platforms that, and I guess I can talk about it, it's not a public company, uh, although they claim to have an $11 billion valuation. If they IPO'd, it would be, I think, a very negative sign for the market. Um, Successfully, if they successfully IPO'd. Um, and I think that there's there's a lot of platforms. You can go to Charles Schwab. You can go to TD Ameritrade. You can go probably to Fidelity, although I don't know Fidelity's program. You can even go to Interactive Brokers and choose an option and choose a account structure where you're paying no commission. Now your orders are being routed to firms that um, buy those um, orders. It's called payment for order flow, that buy those orders from the big retail houses and the big order execution firms. So you might not be getting the ultimate best execution you would get, but you're probably not noticing it. That's how those companies can offer. Obviously, we learn in Economics 101 there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? There's no such thing as a free execution. If you're executing and paying zero commission, you're probably not buying at the best price you can buy at or selling at the best price you can sell at by fractions of a penny, because your order is being sold to a Citadel or a Virtue or a high frequency trading firm that is scalping around your order for fractions of a penny. I'm not going to get into it at length right now. We'd be talking about it till 9 o'clock at night. Um, Rick's asking a question about Kodak, big leagues, but they did run 30% of the northern part of New York State for a number of years. Yes, they did. They were a big company that completely missed the cycle, not just the cycle, but the a product transition in the personal camera business to digital. So they clearly have some technologies that obviously have some potential application toward other value added enterprises. We'll have to see how that plays out. I think to say that it's a complicated scenario is putting it lightly. Yes, Kodak and Xerox, both from the Rochester, New York area, both from both companies that really have gotten had missed product transitions significantly, let's say in the 90s and into the 2000s, late 90s, 2000s. Twist meant the Gulf hurricanes could be a real hit. There's certainly going to be a lot of rain. Um, you've got a lot of oil platforms in the Gulf shut down. You've got a lot of probably you've seen more of a spike in that gas than you have in crude. Um, we just got to see how they play out. You know, I don't think either one. I don't think they're talking about either one as being a potential high level Cat 4 or Cat 5. You might not have the structural damage done, but you go inland from the Gulf, anywhere from Galveston to the Houston area, all the way east to the eastern panhandle of Florida, and the border of what would it be, Alabama and Georgia. Those are very low lying areas. You get a big storm surge, you get a lot of rain, you get a lot of flooding. Um, you know, not as much maybe total value from the insurance perspective, from the insurance angle, as if it hit the east coast of Florida, probably by many folds, but potentially a very dislocating event for the oil rigs, all the oil operations in the Gulf, and a lot of, millions and tens of millions of people that live, inland in that area within 25 or 50 miles of the path. So it's 11:30. It's 7:37. I don't have a whole lot else right now. I think we've got to continue to watch the sector rotation in the market. I think we've got to watch closely to see if energy can catch a decent bid after being up close to 3% Monday, down almost 1.5% today. Financials were up a little bit today. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I didn't. Financials were up a little bit, not much, but they had a decent move yesterday. They were up a touch today. I just get a feeling if you're going to see the material stocks and the industrials and the cyclicals continue to do well like they did on Monday, they all pulled, the materials and industrials pulled back a touch. The financials were up, had a nice day yesterday, up a little bit today. We got to see if we get some follow through in the financials. I just get the feeling that the financials could follow through where they failed miserably 2 weeks ago after kind of a nice 4-day rally. So I think that's about it for me. I certainly appreciate everyone joining the program. We are thrilled that the technical issues around the chat are working. It adds so much to the transmission and to the content of the program. This is the Anderson Report on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to get notifications of the next broadcast. like the program. That all adds up in our metrics. I am Tim the Source Anderson. My on Periscope, I'm TJ Anderson 12, and my YouTube channel is TJ Anderson 1. I've got a couple of meetings early tomorrow. I might be away from my Twitter feed or might not be as, I'll have my phone with me, but I might not be as active on my Twitter feed, RE, the market, early in the morning through maybe late morning, just ballpark at 11 o'clock, maybe 12 o'clock or so. But I'm out there. I love the questions. Keep shooting them in either here or on or on Twitter. And yes, John, I do make occasional appearances on TV. I did something with Yahoo Finance yesterday. I think it was on their Yahoo Finance show. If you Google, I had a conversation with Alexis Christophorus and I'm going to say Brian Swazi, two of their anchors on the all of the additions, deletions in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Very similar to what I talked about on this program. When was it? Friday after the close, and a little bit yesterday also. And I did actually that conversation on Yahoo Finance was this morning. I'm sure it played live. I'm sure if you went onto the Yahoo page and threw my name in there as that video might come up. It was about an 8 minute conversation, and I did something with Reuters Thompson yesterday. That's probably going to be on their site. I'm not sure in what form. About a 5 minute piece that was done yesterday. If I get a link to that, I'll try to throw it up either on here or on my Twitter page. But I appreciate everyone's support. Have a great evening, and I'm almost certain we'll be speaking with you again tomorrow evening.